I go into the bathroom, I'm a little baby, and I walk out with a newspaper and a piece of toilet paper stuck to my shoe.
Welcome to Sad Boys, a podcast about feelings and other things also. I'm Jarvis.
Hey, what's up?
Yeah, you want to explain what you just said?
No, I like it without context. Where can we cut in on that? You know why I was doing a crazy little tangent? Because Anastasia's here without a microphone.
No,
she pulled it out of her butt.
What the
Where'd
hell?
it come from?
What'd you have, two?
I'm back.
Hello.
You're back. You were gone.
I had left the country.
You were visiting
fled,
my...
actually. Yeah.
You went to go see my dad.
Yeah, I went to go see your dad. He said, "What's up?"
I think he said, "What is up?" Hello, Anastasia. What have you seen my son?
Anastasia, you went to Kenya
Mm-hmm.
and you were telling me that it was really cool and everyone you met was really cool. And I said, don't tell Jordan that because it'll go to his head. I did say this.
You did say this to me, but legit, I love Kenya. One of the most beautiful places I've ever seen in my life. Like, it was absolutely gorgeous there. Every person I met was so nice.
Was this your second time in Africa because you were in Benin for Peace Corps stuff, right?
Yeah. So second time in Africa. The first time I lived there for 2 years, and I also got to like go to other countries and check them out.
Yeah.
This time I was like just in Kenya, traveling around Kenya.
You're more African than me. I think
don't
we're all in
know.
agreement.
I don't think.
I do want to say, for some reason, people are weird about tourism to Africa, like Americans, I mean.
Mm.
When I told people I'm going to Kenya, a lot of people were like, oh my God, be careful.
Really?
And I was like, you don't know anything about Kenya. 'Cause
That's
it is
Careful.
not any more or less dangerous than going to like Paris.
That's like when our friends from like rural Georgia moved to California and their parents were like, or their grandparents were like, be careful out there.
Be careful. There's fewer guns. Keep an
There's
eye
more
out.
liberals.
I mean, I got that exact same statement from my family when I moved to the US, except to be honest,
They kind of,
Kind of.
yeah, kinda
it's
have
not
fun.
the air quotes crime element, which people would always point to typically if you're from like a more conservative place or whatever. It's just the gun component that by itself is, you know, I think a pretty good reason to be like, hey, be careful.
Yeah, I think that's valid.
Welcome back. What, you staying or?
I'll stay for a little bit.
Did you have the same reaction as Frankie Muniz when you landed in LA? I saw, can we go to Frankie Muniz's Twitter? I have no idea the context of this, but it came up on my feed and it's so funny out of context because he literally tweeted, I've been in LA for 6 minutes and this place is... Wait, I actually don't want to take his words out of context. I'm going to put them exactly in context. I landed in Los Angeles 23 minutes ago and I'm already disgusted by this hellhole.
Yeah, dude. 23 minutes ago, you're still in LAX.
Yeah.
Does he think the cars?
Wait, look, top reply. 23 minutes ago, you're still at the airport.
That is so...
To my understanding, Frankie Muniz it lives in Scottsdale, Arizona.
No.
And as our resident Arizona expert...
That is a hellhole.
Oh, wow.
I can't
Shots
believe
fired.
Jesus.
like you guys have a bunch of people, friends
Weirdly,
from
we have
Arizona.
a bunch of friends from Arizona.
Yeah, why is that?
I
You
don't know.
attract Arizona.
We're attracted him.
We love people from hell, I suppose.
Yeah.
Arizona can be beautiful and can be great in so many ways.
Cleans up nice.
Yeah, but I do have to say, Scottsdale sucks. Phoenix is like has some good qualities.
And you're allowed
but
to say
Phoenix
that because
sucks.
you're from Arizona.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
from there. I grew up in Tucson, but I also lived in Phoenix for like 10 plus years.
So, yeah, you're on notice, Malcolm. Tread lightly. I'll put you in the middle of my two fists.
Whoa.
that was good.
That was good.
That's a weird punch, though, isn't it?
That is a weird
No.
punch.
Yeah.
It's kind of like
Boxing
Vegeta
Yeah,
between the pets.
We saw a meme of Broly.
Vivid.
No, it wasn't a meme. It was a physical tattoo on someone's
A
body.
permanent meme.
A permanent meme of Broly, the legendary Super Saiyan, squishing Vegeta's head between his gigantic pecs. Which
It's seemingly like Vegeta seemed fine with it. His arms are just set to the side. He's not
Yeah.
fighting him or anything.
I think he's
It's not-
unconscious in that.
It's
That's
just chill.
probably why he's.
That's another good reason. How the hell are you, Jarvis Johnson?
I'm fine, Johnson. I've been, you know what? I'm better than fine. This week, I've started moving my body again. I've escaped my chamber of sloth where I just don't move. And I've been trying to eat well. So body's been feeling good. Been a little tired, but
If fine's a 4, where are you now, you reckon?
one more time.
If fine is a 4 out of 10?
Fine is a 4. I would say I'm at a 6 and growing. We're like looking at the chart and we're hoping to see more growth in the future, like a forecast. Like
Hold on to the moon.
Forecast to the moon. Hopefully today I'll do a little walk or a little run. Yesterday we had a meeting and I walked during the meeting and I went into the meeting mad. Not mad at anybody, just like mad at the world. And so I was like, I knew I needed to like move my body, like to get some of the positive chemicals or whatever from that. And at the end, I was like, you know what? I'm still not amazing, but this did help. So I'm trying to build that response to like, oh, well, maybe I just take a walk. And it sucks when it's so hot out because it's hard to like stay outside for very long.
It's kind of the Arizona style hellhole out there. Right?
Yeah. Can we double check real quick that Frankie Muniz lives in
Oh, he's a Clippers fan.
Ugh.
Oh yeah. He moved to Scottsdale. But yeah, I wanted to read about he's a landlord. I just wanted to point out that he's like a big landlord, or at least was, because he bought a bunch of parking lots in downtown LA. He talked about this on the Steve-O podcast. I remember hearing that and I was like, what?
and it was when he was a kid, right? Like his parents were like, hey, you should invest your money in parking lots.
And he was like, and then somebody else was like, well, isn't there something necessarily predatory about building a potential housing space? And he went, life is unfair.
Malcolm in the Middle theme song was it? It wasn't Bare Naked Ladies.
It was some popular band.
It
though,
was.
wasn't it?
Hold on. Was it They Might Be Giants?
Oh my God, you're right. They might be giants.
They might be giants. They are exactly the level of famous that makes sense.
Go to They Might Be Giants. Like go to just type in They Might. You're not the boss of me. You're not the boss of me. I'm trying to find the key. You're not the boss of me now.
Oh, they did the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse
There's
song?
so many bangers, dude. I used to listen.
Mouse Clubhouse song is good.
Yeah?
I used to listen to, when I was interning, I would listen to They Might Be Giants, Pandora. And I've listened to Particle Man.
There was a whole Tiny Toon Adventures episode based on their songs.
The Mesopotamians, Sargon, Hammurabi, Ashurbanipal, and Gilgamesh.
They put out an album for babies.
Yeah,
dude, I hope they don't have any controversies. I hope they don't have any controversies because I unironically fuck with They Might Be Giants heavy.
I mean, I don't know of any controversies, and I think that they are like extremely, like they started as like a punk band.
Yeah.
But they just so happen to love science and stuff.
That's my favorite part.
And so they turned into like a kid-friendly band.
Yeah, the song like Why Does the Sun Shine?
Oh my God. The sun is a massive
incandescent gas, a gigantic nuclear furnace where oxygen is something into helium at a temperature of millions of degrees.
Life
the
is
sun
unfair.
is hot. The sun is not a place that we should live.
What? That's the lyrics of the song.
No, seriously. Like I'm trying to channel Jarvis lyrics radio. Wait, can you pull up Why Does the Sun Shine? Genius lyrics. This is for no one. The sun is hot. The sun is not a place where we could live. Right. But here on Earth, there'd be no life without the light it gives. This and like what is his name? Tom Lehrer. There it is. He's 96 and he's still alive? Let's fucking go.
Get him on the show.
Come on over, Tom.
Tom, come on the pod.
DM him.
Yeah, wait. Can we scroll down to Tom Lehrer songs?
He has
a song called The Elements.
There's antimony, arsenic, aluminum, selenium, and hydrogen and oxygen and nitrogen and rhenium, and nickel, neodymium, neptunium, germanium, and iron, americium, ruthenium, uranium, europium, zirconium, lutetium, vanadium, and lanthanum, and osmium, and
This was
astatine, and
rap
radium, and
guy back
gold,
in the
titanium,
60s.
and indium, and gallium.
This guy's the
and
white
iodine,
M&M.
thorium, and thulium, and thallium.
He was the Gen X M&M.
Tritium, terbium, actinium, rubidium, and boron, gadolinium, niobium, iridium, and strontium, and silicon, and silver, and samarium, and bismuth, bromine, lithium, beryllium, and barium.
I saw a requested, a recommended question there. Why did Tom Lehrer quit? He's 1,000 years old. When are you allowed to quit?
Literally.
He aged out of doing anything. No way I'm getting to that.
96? Yeah,
Are you
that
crazy?
sounds like a lot.
My knee hurts now. It'll
Yeah.
fall off.
I was just thinking about that. Like, there is a thing, like, we have a pretty young audience on the grand scheme of things. And it's interesting to think about how there is like so much life, like health willing and circumstances willing, like all of us could live to like 3 times our current age.
Yeah, and I got
or more or 4.
Isn't it weird? Like, because, you know, every generation outlives the next, you know, it's scientifically. Oh, yeah.
Like on average.
On average. But
and especially 2 generations back, we crushed it against the boomers.
There is a thing,
or
there
against
is,
the greatest generation.
I will note the thing about like, you know, when you look at life expectancy from a while back, there's that thing where the numbers get really skewed because of infant mortality, and people actually lived much longer than like we think, because people are always like, oh, people in the 1600s lived to 30 or whatever, but in reality, it's just that childbirth was so like risky that
if you made it past childhood.
If you made it past childhood, then you probably lived like what would we would still probably consider a relatively full life today.
Yeah.
But in general, yeah, people are getting quite old.
But yeah, so there's a chance that we will all live to be over 100. I don't want to.
I don't know.
I'd rather not.
I'm busy,
Though,
dude. I got stuff.
We are getting to a point where I've thought this for a long time, where I kind of think that when I get older, I'm going to be able to play so many video games. When I was younger, my aunt worked as an activity director at a nursing home, and I spent a lot of time at this nursing home as a child. And so I spent a lot of time, like my aunt would like do bingo nights and things like that. And I think if they had Halo,
oh, dude, they would become
I don't
Spartans.
think I think I would be doing LAN parties. I don't know if I'd be at bingo. I think I'd be saying bingo headshot. You know what I'm saying?
I would be, mocking an old man because I'm the arbiter. I have a weird hitbox. How did it kill me?
Oh man.
I'd
be like, Ethel, your strafing is so bad.
Yeah.
Work on that arthritis.
Loser. Wow, not playing keyboard.
I also like the sort of this is a thing that like I don't. There's more politics to discuss on this, but just the possibility of the like body computer connection and the brain computer connection, and like the ability to kind of be able to who knows, but like if it becomes more accessible to like use your mind to control computers, then like our physical limitations
even
of
if your body is like
exactly
isn't working as well.
I can do a lot. I can play a lot of RuneScape is what I'm saying.
I have and optimally.
If you keep your mind sharp,
You're
then-
just a brain in a jar playing RuneScape.
Install me into something where I can live out my last days chopping wood in Draenor.
I would like to be placed in some kind of cryo tube, but in a long hallway next to other famous figures of podcasting.
Like in Futurama.
I want Marin to my left. It's just his head in a jar, and then my head next to Reagan or something. and me,
Nixon going, I am not a crook.
And I go like, yeah, I get it. I seen it shit.
I saw Futurama.
I know about your
That's
stuff.
basically it, right?
In the past, people would be like, if you retire, you die because you're just doing nothing. And it's like, we're never doing nothing.
Right. It's like every gamer has a Steam library that's full of 90% games that they bought and haven't played.
It's full of 90% of games that I will eclipse my death. I
Right.
will not play those.
Right, if you
before
add
I'm
up
gone.
the like how long to beat times of every game,
No
it's like a
chance.
lifetime's worth of.
Every humble bundle extends my lifetime.
Yeah, the
expectancy.
Library of Alexandria will be played out in humble bundles, unplayed.
I would love to burn my Steam library down to the ground and start fresh. That would be ideal.
Yeah, I also think when I was a teen and I was watching like Hank and John Green videos. Thank God I watched those and not like Shane Dawson videos. It was a very much like a fork in the road. I
And
guess.
thank God-
I was watching both.
That's awesome.
That makes complete
And you
sense.
turned out okay.
Well,
But specifically, content aside, the fact that they were adults who were having fun in their lives and doing things that I still found interesting opened my world to the concept that adults could be interesting
Yeah.
and fun.
I don't think I really understood, because also when you're a kid, the kayfabe, the unreality of the internet and content creation, and then especially fiction, just feels like it is manifested by like the universe. Like a movie comes out because the nature. I don't know. It just appeared.
Right, like a flower blooms, much the same in Avengers sequel.
Yeah, much
shall bloom as well.
There's another mid-season of The Mandalorian drops. It works exactly the same way. But then you kind of get a little bit of insight or a little bit of context, or you meet somebody that works in the film industry or something. And you get, like, this little, and like language, it's gradually eroding. It's not that you instantly learn everything and break the cliffs down. You learn one word, it elaborates into another word. Maybe it's little drip feed. And I feel like people, Wheezy Wader was a really big one for me.
Yeah,
human beings,
Craig,
being like presented in slightly unreal fiction. Like this show is, we have a light, we're like, it's not, nothing can ever be fully authentic, but seeing a little bit of authenticity in an edit, in content, kind of, I remember it briefly breaking my brain and going like, well, how is he able to, why does his chair make a chorus noise when he slides along? Why does it make an angelic? That doesn't make it. Oh, why? He's like a guy. He's like making something.
Right.
And there's all this life that's happening in between these things coming out. And then I check back in on Wheezy Wader 10 years later and he has like children.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, it kept going. It is unrelated. And just like we were talking right before the show about a friend of yours who just kept going. Their career kept going even as you weren't chatting.
Because it's like I've recently reconnected with like friends who I hadn't talked to in years, because I was like, I posted on my Facebook and I was like, hey, if anybody has old Magic cards from when we were kids, I'm down to buy them, because I like lost all mine from when I was a kid. And that is the pool of people who are my age, and like some of them I played Magic with as a kid. And so through that, I've like reconnected with some of my like friends from middle school who I haven't spoken to in ages. And it's so interesting to like catch up. One of my friends was somebody who we roomed together when we were interning back like when we were still teenagers. And then we became adults and we still kept in touch a little bit, but he like has a kid now and a family, and he's like starting a company or whatever. And he was like, yeah, I just like need to get rid of these Magic cards because the wife will appreciate it. And I'm like, that's really sweet. But also give them to me.
But also get divorced. How dare she?
No, it's like a priorities thing that I totally understand. But it's like so interesting that just like people like go off and like live their lives. What is it, Sonder? When everybody you like walk past has like a life as infinitely complex as yours.
There is a natural capacity of how many lives and how many circumstances I can keep spinning in my brain, and not lives I'm responsible for. I mean, like friends back in the UK that I grew up with, I don't keep in touch with, partially for logistical reasons, like time difference
and stuff.
Been a really long time since I saw. I mean, I went pretty far away from my hometown to go to college, and I went very far away from my college to go to work, and I don't really, as much as I would like to maintain those connections, at least in like out of curiosity, if nothing else, I feel like at this point it's a little like making a new friend where something has to be taken out a little bit. I'm going to spend less time doing something or seeing someone to add in this thing or person. And I'm not against that, but I do every now and then. I'm late to replying to a group chat, but it was about like, which actually put that on my fucking tombstone. I'm late to replying to a text. It's about like a wedding date that they had set up, and they're getting married to someone. They started dating years after I last spoke to them, and they're getting married in a place they moved years after I last spoke to them.
Right, it's like you missed a few seasons of the show.
But back before
like a time skip.
But before you could even stream it, so like I guess I'm just not going to see that.
Right, I guess I'm just going to have to pick up because they're not re-airing these episodes.
I can go on their Facebook, which is like the manga, and I can read that and go like, I'm kind of getting it.
You can read it's almost like reading the episode summaries or whatever.
But then a name is in it, and then Clappin arrives. I don't. He wasn't in the other ones.
Oh, I don't remember him.
After Clappin's death. Okay.
Wow.
Who cares? I guess.
Yeah, I think that also affects local friendships because it's hard to just keep in touch with people in general because of how much you're spending. Most people are spending their weekdays either in school or working. So you see the people you see, and keeping in touch with anyone who's like not directly in front of your face is like additional like work. And it's I think I very much value the friendships where we like don't chat for a few months and then we catch up and there's like equal enthusiasm on both sides to be like, hey, how's it going? Like, catch me up, and not like you haven't reached out type vibe. It
does feel like over time the closest and most consistent friends are naturally kind of boiling down to people that don't feel offended.
Yeah, like resilient to that.
You just because I don't know how to solve the problem otherwise.
Yeah,
and it's not that I think I've had any like destructive falling outs with anyone because we haven't maintained something, but I don't know. I feel like all the people I'm closest to are, for want of a better phrase, low maintenance.
Sure,
because it's like. And I never want to be a flake. I don't want to cancel plans out of like suddenly nowhere. But if somebody does need to cancel plans with me, or if I really, really need to cancel plans with them, I really try to emphasize that it's not a reflection on the care that I have. It is the exact opposite of that. That's why we had the plans to begin with.
There's a great, let me see if I can find this. This is exactly what I mean when I send the salute emoji. Beloved friend, whatever plan you have in mind, count me in. I am there for the whole afternoon, day, night, whenever, 1,000 times over. Of course, I am uneasy about the military symbolism, or should I be? But perhaps there is something important to it. Consider all the ways we entrust to each other our lives, in full knowledge of the power we necessarily have over each other, the ways in which people can undo each other. We are brothers, sisters, comrades in arms. To the ends of the world and to the end of the night, I adore you. That's what I feel when I send the salute emoji.
Somebody announcing maybe like the most profound news that they've ever given to a friend. Maybe something really, really wonderful has happened. I send the emoji where my eyes are really big, and I'm like, because I just don't have, or sobbing of excitement.
Yeah, it's just
I do think like the semiotics of emojis is kind of like, now it feels like I'm generationally locked in a way that is also terminology. Like I will only ever use certain emojis the way I do right now, and I don't think I can change that anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I'm open to it, but I think that things like the thumbs up has felt passive aggressive for the entire time it's existed. I think like even when Facebook Messenger added that big thumbs up that you could drop. I don't know if you remember that. Like that never felt great. It'd be like, all right, so we're like excited to see you this weekend, and then it'd be like, boom.
Same with the like through, dislike
like a
through,
response.
because it's. I think once there's a spectrum of options, and you elect to not do the biggest heart one, it is like,
so you hate me.
What's that saved for?
So you want me dead. You don't want to see me live to 96.
Very well understood.
Like, it's not an indictment of you as a person if if someone isn't reaching out, right? Like going back to that Sonder thing, it's like there's an infinite number of complexities and possibilities for like why someone isn't communicating, and
it's tempting to center it on yourself.
Yeah,
but there's no reason it would be you versus anything else.
Yeah, and I think that my anxiety does that all the time. Like I'm definitely not immune to the like, do all my friends hate me type feeling, and it's never been that. And yet my anxiety is always like, well, maybe just this once it is.
I think I used to get it with everyone. Now it is only with some people, and it's like the high stakes ones. I think it's like where it would be like, oh, this is something I don't want to lose because it's not something I will ever have again in the way that I do. Like I will worry about all of you hating me for doing something, right? Especially Jarvis. I'll clean that up, by the way, what I did over there.
Yeah.
But
you think potty trained at this age.
I
was nervous.
Weird.
Yeah,
it was weird, bad shit.
It was crazy. I couldn't believe my eyes.
It was firmer than you'd think. Yeah.
Nose.
Let me tell you, it's growing. Weirdly, don't want to get into that. I worry about those sometimes, but I feel like we are all fortunate enough at this point to have enough like friend infrastructure, which at times in my life certainly have.
Friend infrastructure is what I call it. Yeah.
Like to maybe lose track of. And we got a handful of friends, especially like other creative friends that we used to see mostly through like parties and stuff.
Right.
And then variety of reasons, fewer of that specific type of party. Used to go to start happening. And I don't keep up with them as much, but I don't think it has like resulted in negative relationships. I'm doing a really bad job of maintaining the relationships of the people I was closest to before I had to leave the US. I'm like recently had a one-on-one hangout with one of our friends and a very early guest on the show, Brigid.
Shout out.
We hung out and we hung out at a pool with his son.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh, it's this right here is his son is now part of the friendship.
Right.
Even his husband isn't necessarily like, I'm good friends with his husband as well, but I could be friends with James independent of Brigid.
Yeah.
I can't.
No, same.
He is that child is like he's like, what's that guy from Ninja Turtles with like a face in his chest? it's like a mech. Brigid is now a mech for his kid.
Right.
And so it's lovely. But now I'm like, oh, well, now I it's different to maintain this relationship because this is a person with limited time. I want to dedicate as much as possible. I want to be, I went to his house, you know, because obviously there's logistics there. It's hard to maintain those relationships because you don't bump into each other.
Yeah,
really.
I don't think I've seen Brigid since we went to a Jonas Brothers concert last year. But it was a highlight of my year.
That's true. The show or Brigid? Red light.
No comment.
What's the best Jonas?
It is tough to say these days. Let me tell you.
Did one of them do something? I don't know.
A little bit.
Ooh.
There's like it's complicated. It's like also become like a geopolitical statement now to pick a favorite Jonas because Nick is dating Priyanka Chopra.
Really?
Or they're married and they have a child. Yeah. I think they have a child.
Oh, that's probably why we don't hang out as much anymore.
And then when I saw the Jonas Brothers, Joe Jonas was embroiled in a controversy about he was recently broken from Sophie Turner and said like something really cryptic on stage where he was like, no matter what you've heard, don't believe it unless it comes from my fucking mouth. I was like, whoa. All right. Anyway, this is SOS. Woo! This is an SOS. Don't want a second guess. It was like, that sounds like a cry for help.
Okay. Well, it's a second. I am second guessing actually a little bit.
And then Kevin.
Is that his name?
Kevin Jonas.
How many of these little fuckers are there?
Kevin Jonas ghosted Danny Gonzalez back in the Vine days, and then Danny made a song about it, and it's a very funny song. So I'd probably pick Kevin Jonas, especially because you'll never live down ghosting Danny that one time.
Wait, how many Jonas? I thought there were three.
There's four. Because there's also Frankie Jonas, the bonus Jonas, who was a child when the Jonas Brothers had their initial blow up, and now is an adult.
They were all children, right?
Yeah, but there was like Frankie was like, he was like 7 or something like that. And then they were like 15, you know, so he was like the little one. And
the Dewey.
Yeah, decimal system. He was the decimal. But the going to the concert experience was really good with Briggan.
It is nice with a framing device.
And James plays Pokemon Go, and so we can exchange Pokemon Go memes.
We are creeping. I think we might be best friends, probably.
Sorry, I don't know if you know this, but your toe is peeking out of your sock.
Wee!
And so ultimately someone will comment on it.
That's true.
You know,
Please
that's
let me
okay.
out.
This is like why I need to buy more expensive socks. I think I buy the cheapest socks available, and then they immediately deteriorate, and then I need to... Yeah. Anyway.
Well, I think the big issue with a degrading sock is that technically you've lost 2 socks in theory.
Yeah.
Your socks need to be matching.
They're soul-bound.
But
Yeah.
the other
Have
one
you
bursts. It's like a
heard-
twin.
There's something on TikTok which is like, you can't keep up.
You
How
can't
do you
keep
keep
up.
up with these?
My nephew's always talking about all this stuff, and I'm like, what's being lit? Seriously.
Yeah.
But
You making a fire?
there is a whole discussion going on about how Gen Z doesn't wear no-show socks.
Oh. You know what's funny? We were talking about object permanence earlier. I once wore no-show socks in a photograph, and I had Gen Z DMs that were asking me why I wasn't wearing socks. And I was like, damn, y'all need to
You need to calm
know that there's
down.
things that exist that you can't see.
if you because
Yeah.
I do think sometimes, especially like when I hear about TikTok trends like that, I know we talked about it last week for some reason, but it is a bit of a one-sided rivalry where sometimes somebody will like comment on a pic or something, a way I type or something, and they'll be like, "This is so millennial."
Mhm.
I'll be like, "Yeah, all right, I'll take your word for it. I don't think this." I don't care. It seems like we're.
It's like, is that
against?
Okay.
I am one.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna keep doing that.
Well, and it's kind of like,
Who cares?
who cares?
Which, to be fair, is younger people.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
who cares about any like things. Being
But-
assessed is like the worst thing that can happen.
What I learned though is that that's a thing that you say to your Gen Z friends also.
What the?
That this is such a millennial pose or whatever.
Oh yeah.
And not just to actual millennials. Because at first I was like, what is your problem?
Yeah.
Like I thought it was just like, you're so old. Stop being so old.
For a while, people were calling actions boomer.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And
Oh yeah.
still kind of going on, but like,
Yeah, but it's
but it's like, it's not that the person is a boomer.
Yeah.
It's that the way they are acting is very old.
And I think the boomer reference is usually at least twinged with something a bit more sinister. It's like doing something, holding an opinion.
It's like
bearing
Karen.
away.
Yeah.
Whereas then being a millennial is more just like being unself-aware and cringe.
Yeah.
Which I do think, you know, I mean, we're talking about the fact that we may not even be a third through our life, but at the same time, like a little part of me is like, I can't care. I really, really want to be maybe a bit more zeitgeist aware or whatever. But if somebody hits me up with, I don't know, if I suddenly found out that like, oh my God, you're seriously wearing that tint of jeans? I'd be like, I just want to go play video games. I cannot involve myself in this conversation.
And in this economy,
And with
who has
woke
the-
Biden in office? I mean, seriously. Kamala Biden is now saying she's black. So he's saying he's Kenyan and British. Or is he a podcaster?
It's much like the legend rule in Magic the Gathering. They're saying,
Anastasia,
hey,
you explain.
you've already
Oh,
got one of those in play. You have to sacrifice the other one.
You can't make a copy of that, dumbass.
Unless it says it makes a copy of its non-legendary.
Speaking of race, let's watch this TV show.
Actually, speaking of race, let's watch
ya.
let's watch the video that I sent.
Okay.
That I sent Jacob, and you'll see why in a second.
Wow, we have so much race to talk about.
Oh,
Let's watch this.
okay. Well,
Oh.
caption is come pick cotton with me.
Hi, my name is Hannah Lee, and I'm a farmer. Come pick some cotton with me. Now, I know what you're thinking. What on earth is she picking cotton for? If you wanted me to be quirky, I'd say it's in my DNA.
That is quirky. Dude, quirky. So, oh, that is random.
XD, dude. XD random. Oh.
God, if I wanted to describe it,
If I wanted to go a little
mental.
socially awkward penguin.
Oh, Millennial mode, dude.
Yeah.
What the hell?
I
I'm
had to
young as hell,
reference that
Fortnite.
shit.
This is, well, now I guess I am. I didn't know we still had to do it like this.
So yeah,
thought
this
you
was the
just
thing where I
machined
first
it.
saw it. I'm like, what on God's green earth is this?
But the truth of the matter is, it's in my household. And as someone who loves a cotton stuffed mattress and a cotton stuffed pillow, and I'm getting low on both, I had to go harvest some cotton. But look at how gorgeous it is out here. You cannot tell me I wasn't born to pick cotton.
Stop doing it. Stop it. No, but don't do that.
I can tell you, actually, you know what? I will say you were not born to pick cotton. I'm comfortable saying that.
I'll
double
that.
down.
In fact, yeah.
Yeah, I'll double down.
And it is quirky. I'll
What?
admit that it's quirky.
Are you doing this for? What audience is this for?
I'm running low on cotton mattress and running low on a
This
cotton
is like
pillow.
a what's
Does it
your face?
degrade?
I'm like, is this in the like Nara Smith cinematic universe?
The like I'm building the thing from scratch.
Because
kind of-
the
But
dress
even
is
the
also
fit.
Mm.
giving.
Homesteading, trad wife stuff. And I don't even want to say trad wife because just homesteading stuff is like very popular on TikTok
Yeah.
right now.
The joking about it is insane to me. Like the second reference in 30 seconds, by the way, to like it's in my blood. Maybe I've been meant to pick cotton. Shut up.
Stop
I'm saying, like,
doing
I'm
this.
not gonna say that often, but maybe keep that to yourself.
It's a little minstrelly.
Well, yeah. What
It's a
audience
little-
is this
it's a
for?
little
Because it's
performance.
certainly not black people.
Yeah. It's not like
Because I don't feel good watching a black person pick cotton and go, I guess it's in my blood.
yeah, this is for like she's just sharing with white friends.
It
and
feels
they're
like, yeah,
"Oh."
if I was in middle school making a joke about being black
And doing it that frequently is a middle
to
school
a
move.
white audience to
It's-
like be accepted.
It lands the first time, and then you're like, and maybe I'm bored for it. Do you remember when I said that before? Same joke.
Yeah.
Like when
Okay.
a little kid keeps walking around telling the same
So I
knock
think
knock joke.
at this point, I stopped watching and I unplugged my computer and no, it was 2 a.m. and I just went to bed and I bookmarked it and I didn't want to send it to Jacob because I felt it would be some sort of breach of our work relationship to send this to you at 2 a.m.
Wake up. Emergency.
I do think that if she were like, I'm picking cotton and look at how beautiful it is, and like, this is something I chose to do and I like to do it.
I
It's
think
like,
there is an
great.
acknowledgement is fine.
I
or
think
whatever,
there
yeah.
is an acknowledgement that I'd be like, I would want to stop those jokes at the 0th moment.
in
I-
D4 or whatever.
Yeah. I'd be like, "Hey, get that thought, destroy that thought with laser beams. This is something that I enjoy doing because I like my pillow.
And I don't want to, police anybody. Obviously, it's not like I don't want to make it illegal or whatever. You can say whatever, but it is cringe. That is the part that's sticking with me more. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, I get it. Yeah, okay, yeah. Little kid coming up at Thanksgiving is like, did I tell you my knock couple couple times? Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, it's awesome, and I love it every time.
But knock, I'm leaving.
So maybe there's some possible way that this wins me back because I have not seen the back half.
it's 2 minutes and we've only seen 30 seconds.
And boy, have we seen a lot. Boy, have we seen too much.
Cotton doesn't degrade, right? Like you don't have to replace the cotton in your pillow.
I think it just gets smushed. But also,
But don't you like fluff a pillow for that reason?
Yeah, I think you can.
But you put even more cotton in endlessly.
Also, don't people put like feathers in pillows to be like the fancy schmance?
If you
Yeah,
use
but
it-
I
don't
think
know.
a lot of people don't like. Well, also maybe she makes her mattress. Maybe she makes
Maybe.
her
How often
pillow.
you gotta
Like,
make a mattress?
that's unusual.
Yeah.
You know,
Hey,
you're
what
not
are-
gonna.
What do you? He's making these Casper mattresses out of a ghost? No, but seriously, guys.
Okay. Wait, go back. Is that her laughing? Yes. Oh my God.
You cannot tell me I wasn't born to pick cotton.
That is the most evil.
That
laugh.
is the most fucking get out shit I've ever heard. That is the most like in the sunken place shit I've ever heard.
the sound of the tea stirring. And
Also, I can't help but notice that there's a cut before the laughing, so it feels even more premeditated.
Not tell me I wasn't born to pick cotton. Anyway, all jokes aside, I have actually come to love the cotton picking process. I love my little bulbs, and I cannot wait for them to produce more cotton. Look how cute they are. Now, the fire ants were getting on to me, so I had to go.
Just a little, just for a second, just a little quirky moment.
Just a little, nah.
Imagine I did.
Remember?
Do you ever? Oh, no, I'm playing.
Okay.
No, I'm just playing.
But there's something to the process of getting home, and
this is Zoomer girl race car bed. That aesthetic.
Right,
that's
right. I see what you mean.
That is Lightning McQueen for like a 10-year-old. Same thing.
Like when I see this, I'm like, no way you're de-seating these on your bed. I feel like you're just trying to show us your bed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
stripping the cotton down. That's just so calming. I have my 3 buckets, one for soapy water, one for the seeds, and one for my freshly picked cotton. And this process is so relaxing. I'm serious. My husband is so cute. He came and bought me coffee. We use freshly...
You know. Cut that by. Cut just a little stitch it, you know. I'd believe he bought you coffee if I didn't. You'd have to show him doing it. Even that one-handed for him.
That's metaphor. That's deep reading, the white hand of colonialism.
It's freshly ground coffee beans from the farm, and let me tell you, it's the best coffee you will ever taste in your life. I love being a farmer. I think there's just something so incredible about getting back with nature. And speaking of nature, breastfeeding my child is going well. So props to all you moms who have breastfed. I'm at a year now, and I'm so excited because I'm about to be able to get pregnant again, and I'm ready for another little baby boy, Lord willing. I'm going to try to get to bed at a decent time because it is Saturday, and I have to go worship the Lord tomorrow, but thanks for coming along with me, and enjoy your weekend.
It is very funny to go, I'm ready to worship the Lord, and the cut that is synced with that line is the TV playing Beauty and the Beast.
I have to go worship the Lord. It's the
Beast.
I have to go worship the Lord, and it's my Steam profile opening. I got worship to do.
This is like, it feels like 1,000 like trad wife dog whistles. Like, I feel like I was hit with buckshot of like trad wife dog whistles.
When she said another baby boy, Lord willing, it's like, you hate yourself.
Yeah, this is wild. This is so
You
much.
don't like women.
Okay. So this is another, I guess, trad wife account. And she has 850K subs.
Respect.
Or followers, my bad. And so cool. And then it's, what was this emoji? Is that a fish? Oh, it's the emoji next to the, can we zoom in?
I think it's a corn.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it is corn.
Didn't know they had
it's
that.
corn.
Or like a wheat or something.
Or wheat, yeah, wheat. From field to kitchen, I do it all with a touch of humor. Oh, we've heard the humor. And a lot of white heart. And a lot of white
Oh,
love.
And a whole lot of love.
Ah, yes.
And her profile pic is her holding her kid.
Right.
What is that?
A little billy goat.
For all the, like, I know when we talk about it, when anybody talks about it, they try and be pretty egalitarian and just be like, hey, you know, you can choose your lifestyle, do whatever. I don't know if I do feel that way about trad wife stuff. I think there is something naturally sinister about it. And I think there is, and I think it's okay to kind of accept that and indulge anyway. But I feel as though trad wife is not just one part of a lifestyle spectrum that has always existed. It is a relic of a specific time where, and the term tradition, especially in Western American culture, is typically used to refer to a time that actually did not exist. Mad Men was never real. That like world never actually took place. That was just advertising. But a bunch of guys with, you know, like The Thinker as their profile picture and a YouTube channel with 100 subs called like Intellectually Destroy or The Mindful Thinker.
The Mindful Thinker for
will
sure.
post like, I miss days like this. And it's the 40s ad for Marlboro cigarettes and a bunch of people playing around. And I hey, go for it. I do think it's kind of bad. I think it's a bad thing that it exists at all.
This makes me deeply uncomfortable. I also okay. Yeah, let's go to the original video and look at the comments. Born to pick cotton is a wild sentence after the DNA one. Absolutely. Girl, I love your sense of humor. The fact
what the fuck? Yeah, the one you're reading, that's crazy.
The fact you chose to do this with grace and beauty shows that times have really changed. What do you mean?
If anything, I learned a lot from this video. You are free. Do they think the issue with slavery is that they were ungraceful?
You are free. What is wrong with you?
What? If I start getting comments like this on my video, I have a come to Jesus moment and have a long think about what I'm putting out into the world and who is consuming it and why.
Yeah, it's like if this podcast, if all our fans had tiki torches or something, I'd be like, something's wrong with the way that we're doing this.
And again, this is not about picking cotton, actually. It's about the commentary upon it. My grandmother picked cotton as a child and lost her shoe in a giant bundle and had to go shoeless all winter one year. I've changed characters 3 times.
My grandmother.
I cherish the story she told me. All right, cool story, bro.
Yeah, I don't. I have no interest in
it.
It
is so interesting because
I'm so angry.
It's like, I think that like this comment, I don't know why they're sharing it online.
I mean, that's Twitter, in general.
Yeah.
Like I don't know why this person is posting this, but, yes, she can do it. I have no issue with her doing it. My instinct when I read it is like, huh?
No,
Why
yeah.
are you telling me? So,
okay, let's go to her response.
So I posted a video of me yesterday picking cotton, and everybody's upset. Some people are saying it's because of the dark humor. Other people are saying it's because the fact that I'm picking cotton.
Dark humor is a funny choice of words. That's all I'll say.
It's really dark. It's almost black.
Y'all will literally rage about anything. As someone who's been an influencer on the internet for quite some time, I have had outrage about every single choice I've ever made. From my hair, to the way I dress, to the person I married, to how many kids I have. The list goes on and on and on.
Kids, yeah.
But I've learned that I just need to be 100% myself, even if that doesn't fit the black stereotype.
Well, I do want to acknowledge up front, yes, those are all, I'm sure, criticisms that she gets, and none of those are valid, and they're all based, suitably on racist assumptions and anti-race mixing. All that's all shitty and understood. I just think there is so there's an argument to indulging a little bit in questionable tradition, like wedding dress is a really good example. There's questionable ethics in ordering something on Amazon. You need paper towels today? Just go ahead, acknowledge it. Don't pretend it is. Don't argue with people online about the ethics of it. Acknowledge that there's something iffy about it. Just fucking do it. It doesn't end the world. I think trad wife implications and trad core, not necessarily cottage core, though there is crossover, I think crosses over the line of acknowledgement being enough. It's a little, it's in the same realm as like alpha male stuff, where I'm like, okay, look, a lot of very lonely people, a lot of very lonely men. If they find empowerment in that, good. I want people to feel empowered, but not at the expense of, say, women, not at the hate of queer people, not at the indulgence in really toxic trad mask behaviors. It's not the having a lifestyle you enjoy part that I find unsettling. It's not the being a stay-at-home parent part that I find unsettling. None of this in isolation is a problem to me. It is the self-identifying, and they're only doing it to some extent, but I don't even know if you use the term trad wife, so I'm not even describing her specifically, but I think trad as a tradition, I don't believe you when you say that it's just a look and anybody can live anyway. I think if you're big into trad, you kind of do think everyone should do it.
What I'll say is that let people live their lives and, they, have agency and they can do whatever they want. But I do think this whole, like, I'm a content creator and I know people take issue with anything. I'm just being my authentic self. I call bullshit on that because I think that if you are a content creator and you can't acknowledge that being fully authentic is impossible, you're being obtuse because this content is edited. This content is
by you.
You know, by you.
You did it.
You know, it's like you've grown an audience. You like kind of think about what goes where and how things are presented. And so to act like I get what they're trying to say. I think when you fail to acknowledge that anything that is content, especially like content that you're profiting from, can be cynically viewed as calculated, is I just think it's in bad faith. Like I think you can't actually believe that. Or you're delusional if you do. Like it's content. Like as much as we try to be, like I would say with this podcast, we try to be authentic, but like acknowledge that like there's things that we cut out. There's times where like we look stupid and we go, Jacob, can we take that out? And there is like in every decision we make, it is inspired by our beliefs and thoughts and ways we want to like live our life. But we also like want the show to be commercially successful because we want to continue being able to do the show.
It's like how the version of yourself you put forward to acquaintances is always going to be a little less authentic than it is to friends, less authentic than it is to very close friends.
And yeah,
because it's work.
And so try as we might to present the most authentic version of ourselves, we will always fall short of that goal because something is lost in translation. Like when you set up a camera and
hold a camera posture, where if I'm out of frame.
Yeah. By virtue of me thinking about my presentation on camera, technically that's already like not authentic to like how I am, but I still want to present a version of myself that is close to authentic. And maybe this is the most authentic person ever to exist, and I'm completely wrong, but I've never seen an example of this pure authenticity. And I also think it's very unlikely that you separate cotton with a bucket of water on your bed.
I also don't demand it. Like, it's okay. You don't have to be authentic.
It doesn't have to be authentic. You can be like, this is a curated look at my life. This is the problem with like Instagram and like why people's like mental health, like teenagers' mental health is like severely impacted by Instagram because people are presenting, at least historically, I don't know what things are like today, but I know it's not great. They're presenting curated views into their life, and they could say all day that it's authentic, but I think that this content and the like Nara Smith type content is built off of like the perfection and the aesthetic.
Yeah. It's built to be optimal. Like, maybe it almost feels like anytime you hear, oh, well, not everybody has to live life like this. It's almost like a preemptive defense with a little bit of like, but I'm kind of crushing it. So
yeah, it's like the thing where it's like when you look at the people who are like doing aesthetic Instagram and it's like, okay, well, this is this person's business to do this. And it's an aspirational thing. And not everybody can do it because not everybody is a successful content creator whose literal job is to make everything perfect and curated and stuff. If you even just look at the clips in this video, it's like, here's me kissing my husband. She's not showing us having an argument with her husband. So, because some things have to stay private, right? And that's not, and maybe they've never had an argument ever, but like, I wouldn't want them to show it and does that make it inauthentic? No, but like, let's not pretend that, I'm just living my life and there happens to be a little fly on the wall and you're just seeing everything as it was.
And obviously all of this in isolation, completely fine. And frankly, the right move when you are producing something. That's why they don't show the behind the scenes during the Avengers. Right.
It's like, there's nothing wrong with the concept of making content, or at least like we would be hypocritical to say that there's something wrong with making content, but acknowledging the biases that are baked in and the narratives that are baked into making content. It's either knowingly obtuse or just completely naive.
And I think the moment it changes ethically for me, or at least like where it becomes questionable, is as soon as you interface with the outside world, as soon as you acknowledge comments and say like, well, people have been saying this, you've broken the fiction now. Now you're a human being in the world and you're going to talk about the relationship you've been having with commenters. I'm like, okay, well, you can't use this as evidence for any of this. It's curated. What are you doing? Don't be silly. It's like Robert Downey Jr. doesn't say, I fucking saved the world. You can't say that to me. It's like, no, don't do that. And it does feel, and I don't want to again rag on this person. This is actually very broad. I'm sure we're channeling frustrations with other.
Yeah, we're talking about
sources.
everything as a whole.
But including ourselves, you know, there's sometimes I'll hear back clips from an episode or something and I'll be not feel bad, but feel a little like notice that there's like something in my speaking cadence or anecdote or something where it does not feel like the authentic way that I describe it in person, but that's, you know, the intent meeting delivery meeting, you know, blah, 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 blah. There is like, I think I find something very disingenuous about citing like obviously bullshit comments and interactions he's having. Like, people say I shouldn't even be married to a white guy, and it's like, okay, but that's not what we are talking about.
So when there's when something is popular on the internet, you will find that there are a wealth of varying opinions, and not all of those are in good faith. And I think that there is this like pseudo straw man argument, because in a straw man, it's like no one's making that argument is usually the logical fallacy. But on the internet, you can find anyone technically making the argument. And then you can cherry pick the things that you respond to in order to create this perception that you are being victimized or targeted, or that you are a victim, or you're being unfairly criticized, when like the reality of the situation is that most people are like down for the aesthetics, or most people are criticizing a completely different thing. But then you say, well, yeah, here it's like replying to @Hope. It's not rage baiting. It's my life and you just don't like it. Okay, maybe you're not rage baiting, but if you've been on the internet for so many years and seen people get mad about so many things, then you can't tell me that you're surprised that someone is upset when you make the cotton picking joke.
There's a theory in documentary filmmaking. The moment you include a camera in the situation, you change the situation.
Yeah. I mean, there's even quantum mechanical theory about that, you know, like the observer, like the double slit experiment and stuff like that. But I mean, not that there's a, you know, corollary. I'm just saying that it is not surprising to me that when you put a camera, people behave differently. It's like, would half of these people who are clout farming on Kick or whatever and like being complete assholes in public, would they do that if there wasn't a camera? Absolutely not. Because
and would they do that much if there wasn't a financial incentive?
Yeah, because the value proposition is zero. It's like, make yourself public enemy number one just for your own personal selfish amusement. Most people don't do that. Yeah, but when you can become rich and famous off of, you know, throwing plush Pokeballs at cars in Japan and like going to the suicide forest or whatever, then you understand that like you are farming, no pun intended, for engagement. And
then like obviously the severity that's
a Logan Paul reference for the record.
The kind of, that's always going to be the classic. That's the meteorite killing the dinosaurs kind of level of like, it's the catalyst for a bunch of people going like, oh shit, wait, there has to be a line. Again, this video should exist. The other video should exist. None of these things should be wiped. I think it's interesting and ultimately like, it's not apocalyptic, right? But it is a good example of, it's not a debate channel. It's not a political streamer. This is not a discourse person. But when someone is questioned, especially online, the immediate instinct is the heckles go up. And they go like, well, actually, people have questioned whether I should be marrying my husband. Ipso facto straw man argument. Like, ad hominem, in fact, everyone defaults to defending themselves in the most disingenuous ways because that's just survival instinct.
Right.
It's like the moment somebody like taps you on the shoulder, you just like raise your fist.
Yeah, so you're saying I'm invalid. And it's like, well, no, actually.
So you're weird.
and it's more like your actions are strange. Yeah. And maybe I wouldn't do them, but I'm not saying that you should not exist or you're invalid in how you are. But I do think that like the presentation is, for as authentic as it's claiming to be, I think that that's a facade. And you know, feel free to prove me wrong. But also, you know, it's like the issue I have is not with the existence of this content or this person. It's with the crying out that you're not what you clearly are.
yeah. As the defense of
Or that
it.
you're not playing the game when it's like, I just don't believe you.
Yeah,
and
go
that's
for it.
fine. You know, maybe we can agree to disagree.
And somebody, I'm sure, could take an objection with like a joke I've said or a word I've used or something like that.
Sure.
But the difference would be, as soon as that comes to me, there's nothing to win here.
Yeah.
There is no victory. Either I change my behavior or I don't. There is nothing to gain in the conflict aside from more engagement, more views, blah, 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 blah. Again, fine, whatever. Or some kind of ideological fight that just doesn't matter at all. So when you say, I don't know why it's sticking with me so much or why it bothers me so much, but there's something annoys me about almost utilizing like genuinely awful statements and like bigger socio-political issues like interracial marriage and breastfeeding and things like this to obscure just like a cringy and shitty kind of like questionable thing, because it almost trivializes all of those and goes like, actually leaving a comment is just that you're a racist.
That I just need to be 100% myself, even if that doesn't fit the black stereotype.
Neither of us fit the black stereotype. Maybe we fit the like black nerd sub
We
stereotype.
fit the Tekken playing.
Yeah. There is
stereotype.
a subsection of black that we now fall into, the blurred subsection. But
born through RuneScape.
yeah, but
raised
the
online.
thing is, like, I feel like that's level 1 of
Yeah.
feedback. Like,
That's
like
the thing you
sorry,
can't
I don't
always put.
fit. Sorry, I'm not like, insert stereotypical black name that no black person actually has.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm not high jumping gunslinging basketball player. Okay.
Well,
That's why it feels like middle school, because those are the types of things like every friend that I had who was a person of color that existed in like a predominantly white space, or while they were existing in a predominantly white space, especially when you're that young, it's very common to do like the self-deprecating identity jokes where it's like, I guess my hair does feel like a sheep because I'm surrounded and I'm afraid and I just want to fit in.
Jordan Adika at 13 years old through about 19 years old was peak. Just like, oh, well, hello, massa, right?
You're like
And
the
does that
Key
mean
and Peele sketch character.
It was because it's easy and it's in B4. It
and
is
it's
also
comforting to people.
It's like don't be nervous.
It's
'cause
like
they
I'm
are nervous.
not dangerous.
Don't worry about it. And also like, hey, there's something in the air. Anytime you say like vinegar, you're hesitating. By the way, no, not that I would say that word. Look, I'm just gonna put it out.
actually.
I'm just gonna say it right now and make it a thing. And look, now we're done, and now we're all involved. Look, now we're all on the same level. And in retrospect, I think I've definitely told the story on the show before, but that era stopped for me the moment someone identified me as like, you're the guy that always does like racist jokes, right? And it was not, I mean, by the time they'd said that wasn't much the case, but it was someone that I'd friend of a friend from years prior.
Yeah.
And then I was, 18, 19, and they were like, yeah, back when we used to like, I don't know, probably drink vodka at the park. That was like the only hobby I was from. But you do that. And they were just like, yeah, you'd always do like race jokes. And I just went like, oh, who's this for? Because this is clearly, it's boring to the extent where people have mentioned it to one another. And I was kind of really only doing it for approval. And now, like, when I got that feedback or that criticism, my instinct wasn't to just then be like, oh, you don't want me to fit in, huh?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, no, I was kind of doing this insincerely.
I think I definitely, like, in my life, fall too far on the opposite end of the spectrum. But there's also this, like, rejection of valid feedback that comes not in the right package.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, if you didn't package this correctly, I'm going to take it as an attack and it's invalid, even if, like, for example, if I used a word that was like a slur for an underrepresented group and I didn't know that while doing it. And
especially when it's like an antiquated term or
sure,
something.
Yeah. And then someone, if someone goes like, hey, by the way, like, this is a word you shouldn't use for X, Y, and Z reason. You can go, oh, wow, thanks for letting me know, blah, blah, blah. But if someone goes, hey, dipshit, we don't use that word anymore. It's 2024. It's like, okay, I don't like the packaging of that. And the packaging is going to make me want to feel defensive. But there is like a nugget of like actual critique in there that is actionable. And I think that online, there's not a lot of decorum. There's not a lot of like care. And a lot of the sort of messages and feedback you get are like rough around the edges. And often a person centering themselves just by virtue of like the internet. And so you could take that as like invalidating what they're saying and not seeing, I see this often, like it's like invalidating what they're saying without seeing the spirit of like what people are saying en masse. Cause the issue isn't about you like not fitting the black stereotype. Sure, there are going to be some people, but like, it's like, let's be real. Like, do you really not know what people are upset about? Or
and like,
are you that naive?
how is that the only thing you didn't mention, actually?
Yeah.
It's like the prestige. She's like, look over here.
Well,
This is what you're actually upset about. And people are like, no, we were
think
upset about
that's
that
true.
over
I don't think
other
you cut her in half. I think that was
Yeah.
just like a box. She put her knees up or something.
And that is a woman who loves farming, who loves having children, who has a really dry sense of humor, and loves a old vintage outfit and a pretty dress. In a world where people are forced to fit into a bubble or be politically correct all the time, I thrive because I genuinely am just 100% myself. I've never once cared whether that flies on the internet, and so I continue to thrive in this chaos. If you genuinely want to get to know me, I would invite you to scroll through my social media and just look at a few of my posts. I'm very in-depth about who I am. And if you don't, just be like this baby. And if you don't like something, just keep moving.
That sentiment is fine. It is very much like, watch me kiss this white man. The liberals are gonna hate this. Look at this kiss to own the libs. That's kind of what it felt like.
Like it's not the libs that are going to be bothered by that.
Are they? I think they'll be fine with it.
Again, it's those little whistles. Like even saying political correctness anymore.
I know.
That's what
Even
I'm
saying
saying.
political
Hello,
correctness.
grandma. Like,
It's
what are
like,
we doing?
okay, it's not 2010 anymore.
Yeah, political correctness as a term, it's never applied to like any broader actual issue. It's applied to when your granddad still wants to say colored.
Yeah.
And you're like,
Okay.
oh,
So there's this one with
correctness.
87,000 views that is it's pinned. That's interesting. Is that her scrolling through her own thing?
As someone who's huge on personal accountability and growth, I decided to review my cotton picking video to see if the jokes that I made really were geared towards the Black community.
No way. What do you mean? See if
Wait.
they really were geared towards the Black community.
Was it supposed to be?
Who were they? Who else could they be geared towards?
What is?
There's slavery jokes about
Wait,
picking
is
cotton.
she trying? I mean, we'll
Okay, yeah, let's hear
more,
out her
but it
argument.
sounds like she's trying to say, I wasn't talking about me being black. I was just talking about
Me being a farmer?
me being
Having a
being
farmer in my blood?
DNA. Yeah.
Okay.
The laugh in that video says otherwise.
The cut and then the laugh, yeah.
As I am a farmer who actually picks cotton. And as I listened to that voiceover, I heard the words I and me. And I realized that I did not say a single thing geared towards anyone besides myself.
No, all I was saying was me specifically, my specific DNA, independent of everyone and everything else,
Yeah, dude.
is what could that possibly have meant and why did you laugh after? Because that's not a joke if you're not referring to something other than yourself.
If you're not referring to people in the past, it doesn't mean anything.
It doesn't mean anything. Just own it. Like, that's kind of what we were saying. Is like the only problem I have is like you're contorting your logic in a way that's like so indefensible. Like that just doesn't, what you're saying doesn't make any sense. I used I and me statements. Okay, you can say I come from a long line of clowns.
Oh, but I wasn't talking about the past.
I wasn't talking about, now when I said,
The long line is me.
when I said honk honk, me and my crew come out of a tiny little car, I was just referring to me.
My car and one person. I'm a one-person crew.
I'm not referring to any of the clowns from the past. There's no I'm not your stereotypical clown. I squirt milk into my face.
Oh, that was
instead
rough,
of
dude.
instead of a little water.
God, that was tough. I was like seeing a video where someone's getting shot in the face. I felt like the
Live
same.
leak.
Going grammar is the final. That's the coyote biting off its leg to get out of a trap. Which
Yeah.
is like, that's not technically the word that I said, so you actually can't be annoyed with me because of the rules. I will say, I want to acknowledge, like, I have ascribed the term trad wife to her. She's not necessarily saying it. You can be pedantic if you want. I'm using it as a shorthand. I'm sure she wouldn't necessarily object.
We
to
could
the
go
term,
look at her
right?
hashtags.
But there is, I actually have like kind of an object lesson in my mind right now, which is that like, I'm sure it would be fine. So we had a friend of ours had a housewarming party a few weeks ago, and we went there. Oh, hashtag tradwife's right in there. Look at that.
Oh,
immediately
called it.
I'm being too generous. Go ahead and click less. We went to housewarming a couple of weeks ago, and I was standing with our friend Isaiah.
Mm-hmm.
We were all outside beer ponging or something or the other, and I noticed that me and Isaiah were stood against a bush that was producing at least a cotton style fiber.
Uh-huh.
And I remember I tapped Isaiah on the shoulder and I just looked at it and I raised my eyebrows and we laughed. We had like a good laugh about it, and then we like, I think maybe you came over and we went like, oh, of course. And like the bit was a throwaway dark humor joke or whatever.
Yeah.
But let's say I got criticism, maybe let's just say that was recorded in some way, and I got pushback on that. I think it's fine. And what would probably happen is I would say nothing because I don't care. But what if I was to defend myself? I would defend myself with it's harmless. Who cares? This is a harmless joke amongst people.
Well, amongst black people specifically, because like Isaiah's black as well. And the thing
we're
is,
not dancing for anyone
right?
else.
It's like it's different if you said that to like a white person and you were like, haha,
right?
Like, remember punching down to your own identity to an audience of someone who does not have the same like background or like history or whatever.
That's the beginning and end of the statement. Like that's the beginning and end of the criticism, and to engage with anything else that you're getting shitty comments about in the same breath, I just don't. I think that's insincere. And dude, I know it's my biases. Seeing the hashtag tradwife does not help, but I am now. There's just like probably suck. Like
there are,
I just don't like.
It's almost like a bingo board or a checklist where it's like, well, you've said
how much
this,
do I
this,
need?
this, and this, so you kind of make bingo.
I'm in court and I'm doing. You know what?
You're like, looks like a duck, quacks like a duck,
is a duck, walking around as a duck.
Says I'm talking about just me, the duck. I'm not referring to other ducks.
It's wearing a sign that says that, but it's quacking because it is a duck.
Right. I'm curious where she goes from here.
But since I happen to be a black woman, the internet has decided to tell me what I can and can't joke about, what I can and can't do because of the color of my skin.
Okay, people are not saying that you can't, but they're saying that it's cringe and bad.
Yeah, that's another thing. That's such an unlike, because the Nara Smith crowd kind of ends up doing it as well, where I'm just like, okay, look, you're online. People are allowed to make fun of you. There is a distinction between mocking, ribbing, bullying, and attacking. There's a range,
and you could criticizing. I would say at the first level, like maybe people are just criticizing you and not saying you can't do this, but just saying I thought that was cringe.
I was upset by it, because at a certain point you're like you have nearly 900,000, nearly 1 million followers. You're not a small bean, you know. Like it's like if you can't. Like just criticism comes with it. And it's like everyone.
You will have like plenty white viewers that will go like, oh, they like joking about it. I can joke about it with them. They like doing that. Yeah. I thought they would upset them.
I mean, that's why Dave Chappelle ended his show.
And that's
to bring him up, but you know.
And not to invoke.
Dave Chappelle ends his show because the wrong people were laughing, right? Yeah. And then he came back and said some very bad stuff.
And then he took the same path that everyone does when they get criticism, is that they pivot extra hard to the people that will welcome them, which is typically the right.
Even when she said the jokes, I may have even said, don't do that. And I'm not saying that as a you can or can't do this. I'm saying as a, come on. But then I also have said, you know, not as a joke, that she's entitled to express herself however she wants. But I also think it's naive to not understand why or where the criticism is coming from.
Learning to receive criticism, it's not a natural skill. It is learned.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like in my case, I learned because in like a professional scenario, that's where because feedback, if communicated well and there is like an
it's a gift.
It's a study. Feedback's a gift. I think a lot of people are naturally reactionary to any kind of bad feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And when you are never in an environment where you have to adapt, you tend to, I don't know, like, it's very easy to avoid negative feedback when there's no job on the line or there's no relationship on the line, when instead it's, well, like, I'm just going to cut off this friend, or I'm just going to ignore that, or I'm just going to distance myself, or I'm just going to go into denial, or I'm going to insulate myself in a culture or environment that agrees with me.
My hug box.
But then once you actually, like, if you don't let that muscle atrophy and you do train the ability to receive feedback, you will feel better. You'll know when it's sincere. You'll know what's valuable about it, if anything, and you'll know how to give it and encourage better delivery of it to you.
Yeah.
As opposed to this, like, this is like if you got a cold and just, you go like, I'm just never going outside again. I have to hide in here. I won't hang out with anyone. I'm like, no. You just wear a mask on the train.
There's something very similar to her response as that white woman who is saying the N-word. The last white woman that said the N-word with the latest one.
No, the won't be the last latest.
The latest. The one who like immediately pivoted to grifter mode.
Oh yeah, dude.
That's
like the parachute.
Where her apology was like, I found nothing to apologize about. This is like reminding me of that.
I reviewed my statements and
actually, I
never technically said that that black people were subservient. I just heavily implied that I had it in my blood.
I love that, like, I've actually been looking at my statements and you're ugly and you suck.
Yeah, this is like,
short.
it's so smarmy to me to be like, I even included captions and then like the smiling with the hearts emoji and a wink.
I even included captions?
Like in the previous video. She's like, wow, you're miscontorting my words and I included captions so you can't read. And I'm like, okay, so...
Probably put captions in it.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, so you're saying it's like, so we're making a literalist argument where it's like, well, technically I didn't say this thing, even though I heavily implied that, like, if I say, we're going to take him out back, I never said I was going to harm him. I said I was going to take him to the back. And the back is where I keep the fun house.
Yeah, my collection of fun toys.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
All right.
Oh, so
you're really in a clown kick today.
Yeah.
Hong Kong?
Yeah. That's where I keep all my juggling balls. Look at
and my bowling pins.
I wanted to make them a balloon.
Okay.
Big creators like Jackie Aina have stitched their videos just so that their audience will come on my page and spectate. But I've got news for y'all. I've never been anything but authentically myself. And I'm not going to change that because y'all want to make this narrative about race play and cosplay or whatever garbage that you're swallowing at this period of time. And you do not need to worry about my children because they are interracial. They will learn to appreciate both sides of the coin and learn not to take life too seriously because an occasional joke does not mean a lack of empathy.
So this is authentic to you? All this shit in front of a camera? Maybe I am the most cynical person on earth, but I don't believe the person who's like always like dress flowing in the wind, like spinning around and like her husband dipping her as they kiss in front of the camera.
Best case scenario, they're boring.
Yeah, I'm like, is that for real? So you're saying like that's authentic? Because damn, that's annoying. I was like,
you sound difficult to be around.
Okay, that's fine.
The joke is not in relation to you. It's honestly none of your business.
Every time I see her spinning around doing her like Gone with the Wind moment, she's looking into the camera. Maybe appreciate the outdoors if you're so into that.
Oh, whoops, you caught me frolicking.
Yeah. Oh, the hidden frolic cam caught me. It was hidden in a sunflower.
Dude, it is. I get like, it's like, that is all fine until you're using it as evidence of authenticity.
Yeah.
And there's like, it's if suddenly, I don't know, I got in trouble for, I like shoved someone at a bar. And then I played an episode for the cop and I'm like, but I'm pretty authentic. I'm just being myself.
I know it's easy to get caught up in the negativity when it's so loud, but to all my authentic followers, I genuinely appreciate you. I'm really proud of who I am. And those of you who do not like me, go fish. Because I'm going to be me regardless of public approval. And that's why I always will thrive.
Okay.
Go fish. I've never played Go Fish. What do you do when they say that? Is it you ask for the card? And
You like grab some more cards from the top
Okay, so if you're not an authentic follower, you gotta.
But I think
get more videos.
Was she making like "go fuck yourself"?
Yeah, but
Joe-
she doesn't swear.
Yeah.
Oh no!
Yeah, because she was like "go fish," because I felt like a very unnatural use of that.
Go freaking gosh darn get
All right,
out of
well,
here.
I mean, hey, look, nobody go tell this woman how to live. Okie doke. So that was that. I have
twinge
to,
of cringe.
I have to rant about Instagram. Okay, I need to complain about something about Instagram because I think it's very stupid and it's very dumb and it's very bad. And I'm biased because it affects our show. If you type Sad Boys into the search bar on Instagram, it shows up with like help is available, call this line. And we have asked Instagram multiple times, hey, like, I don't think this is like what you intend to happen, because who on God's green earth is going through a rough time and then types in Sad Boys with a Z
In Instagram.
on Instagram to seek help? So Instagram has communicated to us that they can't get in the way of this feature because it's helping people. And I'm going to call bullshit, because what is the difference between sad boys and sad men? Well, sad men doesn't have an issue. Sad man doesn't have an issue. Oh, even the top result being sad men mental health quotes. Oh, okay. That seems like it could be helpful for someone. Sad man doesn't have an issue. Sad girl, help is available. Interesting. I am sad. Maybe that's something that someone would actually type in when they're sad, not fucking sad boys. Oh, well, sad boys is such a problem. Well, if sad boys is a problem, you should never be able to type in something like the sad boys, but it fucking works. You're stupid fucking, just fix it. Adam Mosseri, Mark Zuckerberg, fix your bullshit. You're not helping anyone with this. People can't find our show because who is it protecting? Who is it protecting? That's my question. Because I think that a lot of these terms should be barred from searching in, if that is your goal. But specifically, sad boy, there's so many things that you can fucking type in that show up that shouldn't. If this is who you want to protect, it just doesn't make any sense. I'm not against. In fact, like, our show is, at least lightly about mental health. It's at least lightly about us ourselves being sad and us ourselves talking about our own experiences with our mental health. And so I just fail to understand how this is helpful. Also, like sadboyzpod, that shows up. There's just so many terms. I won't show it out of, respect for not wanting to trigger anyone, but there are a number of phrases that someone might actually type if they are actually in mental trouble and having like intense issues with their mental health. And a lot of those things you can search with no issue. Some of the things that you can type in and they just don't get flagged. I think that the problem is that there's like a bunch of red tape and none of these organizations are talking to one another. So it happens that they say that, no, this is something that we can't change. We couldn't possibly get in the way of something that's helping people, but is it?
But it was a single quarters project to performatively provide mental health support.
That's the annoying
it does not
thing
feel
is
real
this
at all.
feels like a performance, or maybe even a legal thing that someone told them they had to do.
Oh, a little bit of setup, a little
and
bit of
it's
accountability.
not actually helping anyone.
If someone can create a reasonable argument as to why sad boys with a Z, I'm not even asking like sad boy.
I think this would bother us a lot less if it felt more sincere.
If it felt like you were actually like doing anything, because what is this? If you type in, I need help,
A literal cry for help.
a literal cry for help, nothing comes up. So does that solve the problem? Because I feel like you should show the little pop-up there. Maybe I'm just providing you with a little additional user research so you can find more terms to prevent people from searching for. If you type in boys sad, everything works as intended. So like, what problem are you trying to solve? That's my question, because it feels like it's inconsistently enforced with whatever it is. And it's embarrassing because Instagram does not have a good track record with any of this stuff.
Yeah.
And you're not making the problem any better. It's upsetting that if we were called the cry for help boys, then you would not have a problem searching for the thing.
Would you like a cry for help meme? That's one of the suggestions right there. First extension.
Oh, I think we should rename our podcast to the Unalive Boys.
That's fine.
That's fine.
It's as long as it's aligned with the rules.
I'm just saying, I don't think you're helping, and I would like you to help us. And you know, it's like a thing where it's like we can maybe change the Instagram handle, but the issue is not actually with the handle itself. It's with people not being able to type in our exact handle and getting to our show. The reason that our Instagram has been able to grow is because Instagram Reels are still like able to like flow through the algorithm. So wouldn't you want to suppress those if the title of the account was so dangerous and so needing to be sensitive? I've never told someone the name of our podcast and them going, "Oh my God, are you okay?"
Jesus. Help is available.
It's strange that we have found such a specific combination of words that even triggers the help is available thing, because there's so many other things you could type. It feels like we had like a bank error in our disfavor.
Man, it feels like if there wasn't this function at all, we've typed in things now that they should add. Crazy. Insane. It keeps recommending cutesy ones.
I think it's embarrassing from a company that's like it's just such a huge disconnect. And I know there's good people working at Instagram and everyone's just trying to do their job the best they can. And I am giving the most benefit of the doubt when I believe there is an interdepartmental communication issue here. This has been going on for more than a year and nothing has changed. And I just think it's dumb and not helping anyone.
Yeah, and in service of a very insincere product.
And if you want to help people, we just came up with a bunch of terms that you can add.
Go ahead, throw those in, please.
Yeah, because it looks like you didn't try because you didn't type in anything that actually seems like someone's crying for help.
Yeah, it seems like you implemented all the things you were able to brainstorm in the first 30 seconds. And then, I don't know, got distracted. Saw
the first 6 seconds.
Someone jangled some keys.
Let's just do sad and that's it.
It's like the person tasked with typing out this list got distracted by the Sad Boys podcast and just typed in Sad Boys, and now that's the only term that triggers the help is available prompt.
Which, thanks for listening. Seriously, I hope you're also a Patreon, patreon.com/sadboys. Always
it's
be plugging.
Just so ridiculous. Okay, that's my rant.
That's a little shot fire. That's a public swing. Little spank. Get out of here.
Okay. Sorry you had to see me like that.
Dude,
but
shaking.
We are gonna have a very fun time after the show over on our Patreon at patreon.com/sadboys. You can subscribe to Sad Boyz Nightz, our premium Patreon podcast that you can access all of the episodes of for as little as $5 a month. Today, we got a couple things. So we're gonna do a mailbag. We've gotten a bunch of mail to our PO box, and we're gonna open it for free on our Patreon. So you do not have to pay to see that, and maybe your mail will be open, but that's free. Also free over there is episode 1 of our Magic Moment, where we talk about Magic the Gathering. Who knows how many episodes that'll be, but we wanted to put it somewhere, and we put it there for free.
Sometimes the moment gets especially magical, and it had to be acknowledged. Okay?
Exactly, and also we are going to be opening a bunch of snacks that we're going to be doing some taste test of some snackies, and also talking about some lost media stuff. I don't know if y'all have heard about celebrity number 6 being discovered, but it's a cool mystery that has captivated my brain.
Join us over there, at least for the mailbag episode, because it's free. Come on down. No obligation to sign up or anything, but if you want even just like an obnoxiously large amount of Sad Boys, you can sign up for that if you fancy.
We end every episode of Sad Boys with a particular phrase.
We love you.
And we're sorry. Boom. What we are looking at is kind of like a random kitschy curtain, like a window curtain. The mystery revolves around, who is that?
I have absolutely no idea.
It's one of an internet mystery that captivated everybody for 4 years. And I'm like, Jordan, who is that? Tell me.
Some user photoshopped the image to look more real.
Oh.
They colored it differently.
Oh, I see.
They
Okay.
did stuff to it to try and
They
make
enhanced?
it look more real.
Gucci girl, how you doing? How you moving, girl? Moving, girl. How's your day looking? That future girl, yeah, we on now. Take my money, go away, all you want it.
Girl, too rich for me.